Silent habits that are aging. What no one has the courage to say. Have you ever wondered if there are things you do in old age that others notice but no one ever tells you? Have you ever felt that people react differently around you, but you can't pinpoint why? Is it possible that small habits are silently damaging your image and relationships? The truth is, as we age, certain behaviors can make us seem outdated, unapproachable, or even unattractive to others. The problem is that most people are too polite to say anything, so you may never realize it. But here's the good news. Once you recognize these behaviors, you can easily correct them, allowing you to present yourself with confidence, elegance, and self-awareness. In this video, we're going to reveal 9 things that people often notice in older adults, but rarely mention. These small habits can affect how others see you, how they interact with you, and even how you feel about yourself. The best part is that they are all fixable. With a few simple changes, you can maintain a strong presence, stay socially engaged, and feel good at any age. Stay with me until the end, because once you recognize these signs, you will never see aging in the same way again. Not only will you gain insight into how others perceive you, but you'll also learn easy ways to stay sharp, stylish, and respected as you age. Let's get started. What causes these invisible habits of aging? Is it possible to reverse the negative impression that these habits cause? What are the consequences if you don't correct these behaviors? Number 1. Invisible signs of neglect. What your appearance is screaming at everyone. One of the first things people notice, but rarely mention, is when someone stops taking care of their personal hygiene. As we age, it's easy to overlook small details like trimming our nails, keeping our hair well groomed, or making sure clothes are fresh and clean. The problem is that these little things pile up and can make a person look older, more tired, or even less approachable. Take Walter, an 82-year-old man who has always been known for his impeccable appearance. Over time, he stopped trimming his eyebrows, let his hair grow a little wild, and started wearing the same old shirt day after day. His family noticed, his neighbors noticed, but no one said a word. It wasn't until he looked in the mirror one day and realized how different he looked that he decided to cut his hair, shave, and update his wardrobe. The reality is that when personal appearance falls short, it's not just about how people look, but how people perceive their energy and confidence. Studies show that when people feel well-groomed, they behave differently, appearing more engaged and vibrant. Unkempt hair, overgrown nails, and even ignoring skincare can make a person look older and more withdrawn than they really are. So what can you do? Keep it simple. Regular haircuts, trimmed nails, and clean, well-fitting clothes make a huge difference in how you present yourself. If skincare hasn't been a priority, a basic moisturizer and lip balm can prevent dry, flaky skin, helping you look and feel more refreshed. And if you wear facial hair, keeping it neatly trimmed can instantly add a polished, uncluttered look. You don't have to spend hours in front of the mirror. Just paying a little extra attention to personal hygiene can help you look healthier, feel more confident, and ensure that you're making the best impression possible. And here's something few consider. The psychological impact of feeling cared for goes far beyond appearance. It directly affects your posture, your mood, and your willingness to socialize. Number 2. The styling mistake that is adding 10 years to your age immediately. One of the easiest things to neglect with age is clothing. Many older adults keep the same outfits for decades, either because they are comfortable, familiar, or simply because they no longer prioritize fashion as they once did. The problem is that clothes send a message, whether we realize it or not. Wearing faded, stretched, or outdated clothes can make a person look older and less tidy, even if they feel great inside. Take as an example the case of Harold, an 80-year-old man who has always been proud of his sense of style. Over time, he stopped paying attention to what he wore, relying on old, baggy clothes that had lost their shape. His family noticed, his friends noticed, but no one said anything. Then one day, he put on a well-fitting button-down shirt and a pair of newer pants, and something changed. People complimented him. He felt more elegant and even stood a little more upright. The reality is that clothes affect how others perceive you. Studies show that people associate well-fitting clothing with confidence and energy. Meanwhile, loose and worn clothes can give the impression of sloppiness or disinterest. This doesn't mean you have to follow modern trends, but a clean, structured, and intentional look can make you feel more vibrant and respected. So what can you do? Start small. A few well-chosen pieces, a flawless button-down shirt, well-fitting pants, or a stylish blazer, can instantly revamp your look. Pay attention to colors that complement your skin tone and fabrics that feel comfortable, but still have structure. Even upgrading your shoes and accessories, such as a good watch or belt, can make a difference. And if you're not sure where to start, asking a stylish friend or salesperson for advice can help you choose options that feel right for you. The key is not to dress like someone else, but to wear clothes that fit well, look fresh, and make you feel confident. When you do this, you will not only look better, but you will feel better, and others will notice. You'll be amazed at how quickly a small apparel update can transform not only your image, but also how people interact with you. Number 3. The emotional trap that pushes people away from you without realizing it. One of the quickest ways to push people away, without even realizing it, is to constantly complain or criticize. It's easy to fall into the habit of commenting on everything that's wrong, whether it's about modern technology, younger generations, aches and pains, or just how things aren't the way they used to be. The problem is that even when it's not intended to be negative, this type of conversation can drain the energy of a conversation, making people less eager to spend time with you. Take for example Roger, a 75-year-old man who loved to share his opinions. At first, his comments were just small observations, how things used to be better, how young people don't work so hard, or how everything nowadays seems rushed. But over time, his family and friends began to become less involved with him. They still loved him, but they found themselves avoiding long conversations because they knew they would end up hearing a list of complaints. One day, his grandson said, "Grandpa, do you still like anything these days?" The truth is that negative energy is contagious. When we constantly express frustration, even in small doses, it changes the mood of those around us. This makes interactions feel heavy, and people naturally gravitate toward positivity. This doesn't mean you have to pretend everything is perfect, but balancing complaints with something positive, hopeful, or light can keep conversations enjoyable. So what can you do? Practice mindfulness. Pay attention to how often you bring up complaints or criticism in conversations. If you notice that this happens frequently, challenge yourself to change the focus. Instead of saying, "Everything was better in my day," try saying, "Things were different in my day, but I'm curious how this new way works." Instead of focusing on what's wrong, look for something interesting or fun in each situation. People like to be around those who make them feel good, inspired, or engaged in meaningful ways. The key is not to suppress your thoughts, but to create a balance between worries and gratitude. When you do this, people not only enjoy talking to you more, but they seek you out because your presence feels uplifting rather than draining. Remember that a genuine smile and a positive comment can open doors that constant complaints would keep firmly closed forever. Number 4. The sound habit that reveals your age more than any wrinkle. A common but often unmentioned problem that happens with age is a change in the way we communicate. Many older adults begin to speak much louder than they realize, sometimes interrupting conversations or dominating discussions without realizing it. This usually happens due to gradual hearing loss, which makes it more difficult to judge the volume of the voice. The tricky part is that most people won't tell you that. It's one of those things that they just put up with, but definitely notice. Take George, a 77-year-old man who loves to socialize with friends and family. Over time, he began to speak louder and louder, sometimes interrupting people mid-sentence without realizing it. His family noticed, his friends noticed, but no one wanted to embarrass him. One day, at a dinner party, he noticed that people seemed to be moving away slightly when he spoke. The truth is that hearing loss happens gradually, and many people don't even realize that it's affecting their speech. But when someone talks over others, interrupts frequently, or raises their voice too much, it can come across as authoritarian or even disrespectful. Conversations should feel like a balanced exchange, not a competition for speaking time. So what can you do? First, pay attention to how others react when you speak. If you notice people leaning back, lowering their own voices, or struggling to say a word, it may be time to adjust your volume. If you suspect hearing loss, getting a simple hearing test can help you regain better control over your speech. Additionally, making an effort to pause, listen, and let others finish their thoughts can make conversations feel much more natural and engaging. Speaking at a natural volume and allowing space for real back-and-forth discussion makes social interactions more enjoyable for everyone. And the best part is that when you communicate consciously and confidently, people will want to talk to you more, not less. You can become the person everyone reaches out to for meaningful conversations, rather than the one everyone tries to discreetly avoid. Number 5. The hidden chaos. How your personal space exposes your mind. A habit that often goes unnoticed, but profoundly affects how others perceive us, is the tendency to accumulate unnecessary objects. Over the years, many seniors collect an impressive amount of items, from old newspapers and magazines to empty boxes and broken objects that may one day be useful. The problem is that this accumulation not only creates a disorganized environment, but also projects an image of mental confusion and inability to adapt. Take as an example the case of Daisy, an 84-year-old woman whose apartment was a maze of piles of random items. His kitchen was crammed with empty glass jars. His living room had decades-old magazines, and his bedroom had neatly folded plastic bags in every corner. His children noticed, his neighbors noticed when they passed the half-open door, but no one knew how to approach the subject. The scientific truth is that our physical spaces are external reflections of our internal mental state, and disorganized environments can create lasting impressions of uncontrollability. Research shows that people who visit overly crowded homes often associate their owners with traits such as indecision, attachment to the past, and resistance to change. This doesn't mean you have to live in a minimalist space, but an organized environment conveys mental clarity and life management skills. So what can you do? Start with small spaces. Choose a drawer, a shelf, or a corner of the room, and honestly ask yourself, did I use this in the last year? Does it still bring me joy, or does it serve a purpose? For items with sentimental value, consider preserving memory through digital photos while freeing up physical space. Establish a simple system. For every new item that enters your space, something old must leave. Involve a trusted friend or family member in the process for emotional support and perspective. Change doesn't have to be dramatic or immediate. Small adjustments over time can transform not only your space, but also how others perceive your adaptability and mental presence. When you release unnecessary physical accumulation, you also make room for new experiences and more meaningful connections with the people around you. Number 6. The embarrassing secret that no one will have the courage to tell you. One of the most uncomfortable things for people to talk about, but one of the first things they notice, is bad breath or body odor. The truth is, as we age, our sense of smell weakens, which means we may not notice changes in our own smell. Certain medications, food choices, and even dehydration can contribute to this problem, but most people will never mention it. Instead, they'll simply keep their distance or find subtle ways to shorten conversations. Take Frank, a 78-year-old man who has always been the soul of the party. He loved meeting old friends, but he began to notice that people weren't getting as close to him as they used to. His neighbor, who used to talk for hours, now made conversations quick and distant. It wasn't until his daughter kindly suggested that he try a new mouthwash and drink more water throughout the day that he realized what was going on. The truth is that dry mouth is one of the biggest causes of bad breath, and it becomes more common with age. When the mouth does not produce enough saliva, bacteria accumulate more quickly, leading to persistent odors. Similarly, changes in diet, digestion, and metabolism can cause body odor to change over time. Even something as simple as wearing the same clothes many times before washing them can have an impact. So what can you do? Anticipate. Drinking plenty of water throughout the day prevents dry mouth, and chewing sugar-free gum or sucking on minty candies can help stimulate saliva production. Using an alcohol-free mouthwash keeps your breath fresh without drying out your mouth. For body odor, wearing breathable fabrics, showering regularly, and alternating between different deodorants can help eliminate lingering odors. And don't forget to wash clothes, sheets, and even hats or scarves often, which makes a bigger difference than you can imagine. Hygiene is not just about feeling clean, but about how others perceive your presence. Small adjustments can ensure that when you walk into a room, people approach instead of taking a step back. Social comfort is directly proportional to the effort you put into your daily personal hygiene. Number 7. The silent language that's aging your body faster. One of the most subtle yet noticeable signs of aging is how you carry yourself. Over time, it's easy to develop the habit of bending over, dragging your feet when walking, or maintaining a closed posture. The problem is that people don't just listen to what you say. They read your body language. And posture is a big part of that. A hunched posture, slow movements, or avoiding eye contact can make someone seem fragile, uninterested, or lacking confidence, even when that's not how they feel inside. Take Eleanor, an 83-year-old woman who has always been active, but over time she realized that people offered her extra assistance even when she didn't need it. Strangers assumed she was weaker than she was, and family members treated her as fragile. She didn't understand why until she saw a picture of herself standing with her shoulders hunched, arms crossed, and slightly hunchbacked. Studies show that people with strong posture and open body language appear more confident, energetic, and even younger than those who don't. Bending over makes you look more tired, while standing upright signals strength and vitality. Even something as simple as keeping your hands visible instead of crossing your arms can make a difference in how engaging you seem in conversations. So what can you do? Start small. Pay attention to your posture when you sit, stand, or walk. A simple trick. Imagine a rope pulling you up from the top of your head, and it naturally aligns your spine without feeling forced. When walking, lift your feet completely off the ground, avoiding the common habit of dragging your feet. In a conversation, face people directly, maintain comfortable eye contact, and use small hand gestures to keep the interaction dynamic. The way you carry yourself influences how people see you, whether they see you as lively and confident or distant and disengaged. With small tweaks, you can instantly appear more present, capable, and approachable without saying a word. Your posture communicates your energy level and readiness for life long before your voice has a chance to do so. Number 8. The invisible barrier that is creating a generational chasm. One of the most telling signs of disconnection with the modern world is the difficulty with technology. Many older adults avoid digital devices altogether or express constant frustration when using them, creating an invisible barrier between them and younger generations. The problem goes beyond simply not knowing how to use a smartphone or computer. When you constantly reject technology, or ask for help with the same tasks over and over again, it sends a message of inflexibility and resistance to learning. Consider the case of Alberto, a 72-year-old retired teacher who prided himself on his knowledge, but refused to learn how to use any digital platform. He would often say, "In my day, we communicated in person, when invited to virtual family gatherings, or to share photos online." Over time, he began to receive fewer invitations and family updates, feeling increasingly isolated without understanding why. The scientific truth is that our brains remain plastic and capable of learning new skills at any age, and technophobia is more of a choice than a natural limitation of aging. Studies show that older adults who embrace technology report higher levels of social connection, lower loneliness, and a greater sense of relevance in the modern world. Technology is not just a tool, but a bridge to ongoing relationships with family and community. So what can you do? Start with a specific purpose. Instead of trying to master all the technology at once, choose a digital skill that has a clear benefit for you, whether it's making video calls with grandchildren or following up on an online hobby. Ask someone patient to show only that specific skill and practice regularly. Look for senior technology classes in your community, where you can learn at your own pace from instructors who are used to teaching your age group. Keep notes simple and use analogies that make sense to you. You don't have to become an expert. Even a basic understanding of a few digital tools can transform your ability to connect with the modern world. Every small technological step you take broadens your social world and demonstrates to others your continued ability to adapt and grow. Number 9. The mind loop that's making everyone avoid long conversations with you. One of the most subtle but universally avoided habits is the tendency to tell the same stories over and over again. As we get older, many of us begin to recycle anecdotes, advice, and reminiscences, not realizing that our listeners have heard these stories several times before. The problem is that this behavior can quickly turn potentially enjoyable conversations into predictable and boring experiences for others. Take as an example the case of Augusto, a 79-year-old grandfather who loved to share stories of his youth on the farm. At first, his grandchildren were fascinated by his adventures, but over time, they began to exchange glances when he began with, "I've already told you about the time that..." A phrase that everyone recognized as the beginning of a family story. They still loved their grandfather, but their interactions became shorter and less frequent. The psychological reality is that the repetition of stories is not just a lapse of memory. It is often an attempt to reaffirm our identity and relevance in a world that seems to be moving forward without us. Research suggests that adults of all ages value novelty in social interactions, and conversations that follow predictable patterns activate fewer pleasure centers in the listener's brain. This need for novelty is a key part of meaningful human connection. So, what can you do? Expand your repertoire, cultivate new interests, read current books or articles, watch documentaries, or engage with hobbies that provide new experiences to share. Before starting a story, gently ask, "I've told you about," and carefully observe the reaction. If you notice signs of recognition, such as polite smiles or nods, pivot to something new with, "But something I never mentioned was." Consider keeping a small conversation journal to keep track of which stories you've shared with whom. Most importantly, practice asking questions. When you demonstrate genuine curiosity about the experiences of others, you turn monologues into engaging dialogues. The stories of your past are still valuable, but balanced with interest in the present of others, they become part of a rich exchange rather than a repetitive cycle. Remember that the most meaningful connections come not only from being heard, but also from actively listening. Rejuvenate your presence and earn respect at any age. Now that we've explored these 9 unnoticed but impactful habits, take a moment to reflect. The way we present ourselves, communicate, and maintain our daily routines affects how others see us, whether we realize it or not. But here's the best part. Each of these habits is fixable. Small changes such as paying attention to personal hygiene, adjusting how we engage in conversations, updating our wardrobe, being wary of negativity, improving posture, maintaining hygiene, decluttering our spaces, embracing technology, and revamping our stories can make a huge difference in how we feel and how others respond to us. Perhaps you have recognized 1 or 2 of these habits in yourself. This is completely normal. The key is not to feel discouraged, but to feel empowered. The fact that you're here, watching this video, and thinking about these things means that you care about staying sharp, confident, and engaged with the world around you. Aging doesn't mean losing your presence or influence. It means refining it. With a little effort, you can continue to command respect, maintain great social connections, and feel better every day. Rejuvenation isn't in anti-aging creams or cosmetic treatments. It's in your attitude, attention to detail, and willingness to evolve. Every little tweak to this list is an investment in the quality of your future interactions and relationships. And the most profound benefit? The confidence that comes from knowing that you're presenting your best possible version to the world. The real secret of enduring youth lies in the adaptable and curious spirit that never stops growing and learning. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today, and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it useful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue to create great content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we hope to see you in the next video.